Alright. Time for a long form video. This is going to be kind of a sit down and talk one. First of all, I want to say all the cameras do look like they're not working. I do have this nice little numpad here. I think you can see it. That controls all of the cameras, so I can go back and forth between them pretty easily with a quick keystroke. I have the left button to the people on my left, the right button to the people on the right, and the middle towards me. Because I'm the most important person in this entire campaign. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. This video is titled Compromises for a reason, because today we're talking about all the I probably shouldn't be hitting the desk at all because of this mic in the state it's in. Today we're going to be talking about the compromises we've unfortunately had to make for the Heirdreamers. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first thing I really want to talk about is the fact that this series comes with many compromises. Of course, this mic right now, it's just sitting on the table, which isn't really great. We'll have to figure that out. The lav mic that I have for myself is currently not working with the setup, but the equipment for that is coming in tomorrow, I think, so that's a problem that will pretty soon solve itself, it looks. But the plan is to have this series out by start of 2026, which is sooner than you think. There are going to be more series. There are going to be another series of short between now and then, and I'll be talking a lot more with a lot more long form videos. A couple trailers, I think, meet the players, and a lot of exclusive content over on Ko-Fi, which you should check out down in the description. There's already a decent amount of stuff over there, and if you're looking for an update about the 13 subclasses I made, now's not the time. One of the subclasses is available over there. I'm going to make all of the non-caster subclasses available over there first, probably, because the casters, I'm making a whole new school of magic for. So it takes a while. I'm done with the cantrips and the first level spells, and that was, 16 total spells, and I think I still have like 26 more to do. Now, granted, I did those 16 in 2 days. I've just been procrastinating, but the problem is me procrastinating, so you probably won't be getting that for a while, but we have the camera set up. Mic will be set up soon. That's all great, but compromises. So, when the series starts releasing, hopefully at the beginning of 2026 or even earlier than that, well, you're going to notice that the quality is hopefully going to be really good. But the problem is, the quality isn't as good as I first originally intended it to be. See, originally, this whole series was supposed to be almost perfect. I took a lot of inspiration from things like Critical Role, Dimension 20, and most importantly, Oxventure. If you know, that one's a little more niche than those other two. But it's my favorite, personally, that I've seen. That and You Meet in a Tavern, but that wasn't exactly video. So, I took a lot of inspiration from that, and of course, I have the 3 camera setup similar to them, but of course, I don't have the 3 table setup like they do. But that's all to come, hopefully, sometime later. I mean, we'll see. But overall, the biggest compromise we've so far had to make is, in fact, the setting and the quality. Those are the biggest. See, right now, if you didn't know, these are being recorded on 3 separate webcams. I have the highest quality, the one that points to this side, and this side are both the same quality, 2 different cameras. The microphone is just the mic I use. For now, we might need to get a new one, circumstance depending. And, of course, the lav mics for me, just so you can hear me a little clearer than the players. Those all are good. They don't get me wrong. They're very high-end, high quality. But they're not as high quality as I wanted. I wanted better cameras than, webcams. Because, sure, they work. I'm sure you're seeing a bit of fuzziness on your side. Maybe not. Maybe I learned how to fix that. But that's more of an OBS thing, not a camera thing. So I can't really complain too much about that. I do have to get the OBS thing sorted out before we start recording this. But that's a later me problem. Let me get this cord out of the way. I'm not sure if it's obstructing vision, but just making sure. Just being safe. So that is definitely one of the biggest things that we've had to deal with. Another big compromise is the music. Of course, you're not seeing the series yet, so you won't really notice, but we're going to be using a lot of the royalty-free music. I'm not buying a subscription for this. I don't have the money left over. to spend on that kind of thing. But originally, the plan, and still the plan henceforth, if we make enough money during season 1, is to have a completely original soundtrack for the entire series. Is that gonna happen? Probably not. Could it happen with enough support? Definitely. So that's something we could possibly do sometime in the future. That being said, another compromise we've had to make is artwork. Uh, if you've ever watched Oxventure, you would know that all of their characters have little art panels and with stats and a bunch of stuff that show up when they're like first introduced, or I think it's every episode they just show the little thing. I don't have that capability. We do have one artist. I think she'll be sitting here. Her name is actually no, I shouldn't disclose that yet because I'm still asking what people want to be called on this, so I'm not gonna call her out too much. But she is the one who did a bunch of art already for her character, which is amazing. And I have asked, but she hasn't really responded about doing the art for the other 3 characters. So player characters, I do really want art for them, and that's again probably a more season 2 thing. And I would say, honestly, a lower priority than the original soundtrack, because an original soundtrack might elevate this thing to the next level. That being said, we are kind of sacrificing our enjoyment playing the game, and I don't want that to sound like, oh, we're having a horrible time playing this game we all love. I mean it more in the fact that we're kind of going to be acting a little bit more in this kind of series. This isn't going to be just we sit down, we play the game. This is going to be we sit down, we have kind of, at least the players will have kind of a mask on where they have to kind of take this seriously, or at least that's the hope. And while that doesn't mean funny things can't happen, that doesn't mean like no fun, no fun. It means we can't just sit around the table BSing for an hour like we typically do in our D&D session. So we're definitely going to have to be a little more into the roleplay aspect, a little more into the game as a whole, but we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. That's, again, partially my fault. Again, I haven't said it yet in this video. That's partially my fault because I'm not the best DM, and that's another compromise we've had to make. Me! I'm no award-winning DM. I am no Matt Mercer. I am no Brennan Lee Mulligan. I am Gavin Tracy. I'm a guy who's been DMing for 5 years and haven't really got much better at it since I started, at least. Not that I can tell on this side of the DM screen, which I don't have up. So I kind of don't think I am the perfect DM. I mean, I will never delude myself to thinking that much of myself. But I'm definitely going to mess up. I am sending out a form later today, actually, to all my players saying, hey, I know I'm kind of horrible at this. Tell me what I'm strong at, what I'm weak at, and tell me like what I should lean into or what I should lean away from or what I should improve on. So that way this whole campaign can go kind of stronger, kind of more fluidly, because I do want it to be something where we can all just kind of sit down and have fun. Also, I might have a problem getting my players to look at their respective cameras. Of course, there are times where you want to address the camera directly. There are times where you just want to kind of talk to the DM. But because I'm sitting here and the cameras are on the other side of the table, I don't think you're going to be getting much eye contact, unfortunately. But that's just kind of the sacrifice we have to make with such little funding and kind of such little space, which is also such little funding, because if I had any more, I would just buy, like, property and, like, put a giant. It's neither here nor there. But we are making sacrifices every single day. Mostly quality sacrifices. Of course, a lot of people are going to be sacrificing their time, sacrificing their effort. I know I've already sacrificed my money, my time, and my effort, and really invested it into this project, and hopefully we can do enough to earn that back. But that being said, speaking of earning that back, we are currently a small channel. If you're seeing this video right now, I think at the time of recording, we're still only 54 subscribers, and unless this video goes through the roof somehow, which I very much so doubt, we're probably going to be at around 54 subscribers when you watch this. Maybe a few more or a few less. So why don't you help us out by subscribing? Because am I going to say this video was quality enough to justify your subscription? No. If you're judging this channel just by this video alone, please don't subscribe. Nothing in here took that much effort. I mean, I had to set up the whole recording system, but that was more of my test. This is just me kind of taking advantage of the test. Please, go ahead, subscribe for the future, because this is going to be the biggest thing I've ever tried. I mean, I've invested a lot of money into ideas before, but this is kind of the end all be all. If this doesn't work out, I guess that's kind of the end of me running from getting a job, which I shouldn't be doing as much as I am. But hey, I'm having fun doing this, and I think I'm doing it decently well. So if you would be so kind to just like the video so you can push it out to more people, subscribe to the channel so you're here when the Heirdreamers finally starts and for all the content that will come before it. Or if you even want to support us even more, a little bit more monetarily, we have a Ko-Fi open. Right now, the only big piece of content is an entire book. I wrote it like a year ago. It's kind of shit, but it's there. It's I think 100. It's a little under a novel length. So if you really like reading and you really want to see if you can stick around, I think that's only $5 one time purchase over on Ko-Fi. Well, it's $5 subscription. You can just download it, cancel the subscription immediately. I don't care. Or you could keep the subscription and see all of the fun things that will be coming to it in the future, including the 13 subclasses I mentioned. Well, 12 of the subclasses I mentioned earlier. One of them's already out for free. Uh, I plan on putting the one player her artwork up if she like wants to. We can eventually create a little bit of an art book. If we ever get an original soundtrack, that will be over there. You'll get 2 exclusive prequel episodes of the Heirdreamers, which we will be filming, I think, next week or in the coming 2. So that's all going to be up there very soon. That a couple of more exclusive videos, exclusive polls, things like that. It's not much right now, but trust me, it'll keep growing as we go on. I have a bunch of vaulted content that I plan on giving you, releasing it a little more serially, so that way I don't run out of content too much and don't get burnt out on making new content. But hey, there's a lot here to come, and we're making compromises along the way. I wish we didn't have to, because if we could make this as big and as grand as I really wanted it to be, we would be in a bit of a better space right now. Probably, like, the physical space, the whole status of the cord management back there, the whole status of the cameras, of the chairs, of the table, of the mic, of the numpad that I use to switch through the scenes. But overall, I'm trying my best over here. So if you would like to support us in any small way, that'd be greatly appreciated. And with that, I think that's curtains for now. I hope to see you around failing forward, because that's what we're doing. Failing forward, one step at a time.